Talking Paki, Haunted Ghost Pepper, Piment, Ventom, Supernatural.
Jesse.
Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Wow, what a show. What a show we have for you today. What a show we have for you. And, you know, I got to tell you, playoffs started tonight. At the time of this recording, Pittsburgh is already up 3-0. By the end of the show, I'm sure it'll be 18-0. Just based on, you know, expected goals for.
It's also Pittsburgh versus Philly. So this game is going to be 9-8 Philly. That's my final prediction.
So? You think they're coming back?
It's one of those series, well, most playoff series are like this, where logic doesn't matter. It's all that matters is the other team.
And they hate each other.
You and the other team. Yep, and they hate each other and silliness happens. So
that's great. And then we got, of course, Winnipeg, and we've got Minnesota playing as well. Evenly matched so far, but we're like halfway through the first period. So what is it really?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't
even know.
But what we do need to talk about is all the crazy end of season general managers.
And I've seen very little of it.
Oh,
so
that's great.
I am excited to catch up.
Now, we'll get to the Sens Town Hall, which was all bangers, and then Marc Bergevin, all bangers. And then today, the Sabres had theirs, bangers.
I heard the Oilers are bangers.
The Oilers are bangers. I don't even have many quotes on that. Jesse, I'm actually going to ask you to look that up. Can you look that up? Because that was today as well. I spent 3 hours putting this show together last night. It's the longest I've ever spent putting this show together. And I still don't have the Oilers, which happened today.
Did you add the new Sens stuff?
What, like from today?
So, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they spoke yesterday, they're speaking again today, and then they're going to speak again tomorrow.
Ah.
The team that needs to shut up the most is doing the most talking.
I have all the Oilers stuff.
You have all the Oilers stuff? Well, I'll have look for some more Sens stuff, but oh my God. But let's start with this. Let's start with a fun story, shall we? This comes from Rick Westhead, who has Steve blocked on Twitter for some reason.
I was about to say, I haven't seen this tweet.
Rick's got some great investigative reporting, but because Steve is pro-concussion, he's blocked Steve. Steve is pro-concussion. Did you not know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He believes concussions are good for you.
When did he block you?
Head trauma is my favorite. I don't know. I think it was probably after one of my Pierre Maguire tirades, which I now regret, but whatever. I don't know. Or maybe he's just like, here, there's a screaming blogger idiot.
Just to correct you on your microphone there, you want to have your talking to this part. Make sure you're talking. Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Now, this is a quick little tweet. After Leafs and Raptors season ticket holder sold 2 personal seat licenses for $107,000. $107,350 is the actual number.
Wait, for season seats?
Yeah, so he sold his licenses for Raptors and Leafs tickets, 2 seats.
I assume good seats.
No, it doesn't necessarily. Well, that's part of the tweet.
Okay.
So again, after Leafs and Rabs season ticket holder sold 2 personal seat licenses for $107,350, buyer sued, complaining negligent misrepresentation. Now, why do you think that could be?
The seats suck.
The seats suck. Now, why would the seats suck?
Wow. What do you mean? Why would they?
Yeah, like is it that it's a different row than he said, or like just have a guess?
I would assume like the sight line isn't very good, or the service is poor, or I don't know.
Jesse,
is it an obstructed viewing seats?
You, sir, are correct because the seats were obstructed by the safety netting for NHL hockey.
Oh, so he's behind the net. What?
The netting? That's stupid.
Yeah. But the judge ruled in his favor.
There is no way this guy is below 65.
No way.
There's absolutely, you know what? I miss the days of the chain link fence. Like, what are you talking about?
Which actually would have got more in the way visually than the netting they have up right now. The netting is almost not visible at all.
You don't even realize there's a net.
Yeah.
No, I've sat behind a few times, and yeah, you can't tell.
Well, and if that were the case, everybody in the red section, which is just in if you've never been to the Air Canada Centre, the reds are literally the section. There's platinum, there's gold, and then there's red. And the red is kind of the upper ring of the first bowl, right?
Yeah.
Anybody in the red section would be like, oh, obstructed view. It's not obstructed view at all.
No. Well, and also, so I have a couple questions. One, that guy is wrong because no, that's not obstructed viewing. Two, you paid $107,000 for Reds?
And it doesn't necessarily we don't necessarily
worth it because Raptors and Leafs.
Dude, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And that's just for the license. He hasn't paid the fee yet.
That's over $50,000 per team.
If it's for
what is
business,
that divided by 82 games? Because 41 Leafs, 41 Raps.
$609. That sounds about right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is not as much as I thought. Wow, for Reds,
$609
though?
per game for both seats?
But for Reds.
50,000 divided by 82 is 609.
It's 41. Oh, yeah. No, it would be 41.
No, because Raptors and Leafs.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
But for Reds. Like, is it boxes in the Reds?
No, but it's your season seat.
It's a corporate write-off, man. If you're buying that, it's a corporate write-off.
It's 2 seats, so it's $300 each. For Reds.
Oh, for the... Oh.
Dude, that's pretty good.
The
That's
price
still-
sounds great.
Okay, it doesn't sound cartoony anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so screw that guy. They're the one who's wrong. Look through the net. I've never heard anyone complain about the net.
I haven't either, but it is surprising that some people do. And I guess that he got his $100,000 back. To me, it sounded like buyer's remorse. Like he was like, I bought these and I probably shouldn't have bought these, but it was such a great opportunity. And now I feel really dumb for buying these.
I maybe shouldn't have oughta spent $107,000 on sports
Unless
tickets.
you can write it off, there really isn't a point to doing it. You better be using that for corporate gain or your business, right?
I don't understand how you're able to write something like that off, by the way.
Well, because it's technically entertainment. You're entertaining clients. Well, just because
I
for
guess.
you're a huge fan, right? Like think about anybody who's invests in a box. Those are not cheap, especially in Toronto, especially for the Leafs and Raps, man.
They're also not for watching sports. Let's discuss things.
I know. My parents used to actually, they were salespeople in media. And every once in a while, I'd get to go to the corporate box for CBC. And it was kind of like they put me in because there's 3 rows of the box.
They put you in the actually watch the game part of the box?
Which is what I did. And they would bring clients down and introduce. And then they would have to entertain. And they never saw the games. And you know what? I don't think my stepmom really cared. She just enjoyed the atmosphere. Like she watched the game, but like she was like, my dad watched a little bit too, but they weren't huge fans. Like for me, that would be death.
Well, it'd be great if you had box seats right now, because then you could watch the Bruins blow out the Leafs in 5 games.
Like Eugene.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about that in a sec, but the first thing I think we need to talk about is the NHL Playoff Bracket Challenge. The official
yes.
Steve Dangle NHL Playoff Bracket Challenge. I believe there's 2,800 people signed up.
Holy smoke. Last I checked, someone tweeted me that there was 1,967 people.
Of course.
I was, I think, 1,989.
There's 2,380 entries.
No, it's 2,300. I'm wrong.
That's still a lot.
Still a lot. And we've got a $200 prize pack from Imports Dragon for whoever wins.
And
and Jesse made a cool video. Where is that video? Where can we see the video for your Imports Dragon?
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
the Steve Dangle Podcast YouTube channel. And
What
Jesse, what time of the day did you make that? That's the type of video that gets made at 3 a.m.
No, it was after work, so it was like 8 or something.
This video is kind of like, what's the late night thing called on Cartoon Network?
Robot Chicken?
Well, not Robot Chicken, but it's like that. They have that block, and it actually, it's like Robot Chicken and Archer and a few of those other. They name it something like it's like.
It was very Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it was very Robot Chicken for sure.
Maybe it was like the other Robot Chicken.
No, I'm not talking about a show. I'm just talking about the group of shows. They have a name for the group of shows.
No.
Adult Swim.
That's
Adult
correct
Swim.
thing? Okay.
Yeah, it's very Adult Swim. It's very funny. So check that out. Also, I want to go through our brackets quickly. We don't have to go take long, but I think since we're going to spend a lot of this show talking about what non-playoff teams said, we should probably talk about the playoffs first.
A little bit.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know what we took in our brackets?
I think so.
Okay.
I know which teams I took. The games, I might be fuzzy.
All right. So let's start with the Western Conference. Jesse, you have yours up?
I do have my bracket.
Okay. I've got mine too. Nashville, Colorado. Who did you pick, Jesse?
I have Nashville. And I think if you pick Colorado, you are a diehard Habs fan.
Yeah. I have Nashville as well.
Burn your net too.
Oh, because Varlamov's out. Yeah, if...
Varlamov could steal you a few games. I'm not sure if he could steal you the series.
Yeah, Bernier just doesn't have that. And then behind him, you got Hamburglar, Andrew Hammond. I think is their third goalie.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're boned.
And all this time, Calvin Pickard was available for a 6th pick.
All this time. There's a few teams that could have used another goalie. Maybe Philly tonight. I don't know.
2 teams playing tonight, Winnipeg and Minnesota.
I got Winnipeg. I said, so Nashville, I think I said 5 games. Winnipeg, I think I also said 5 games.
Jesse?
If you pick Minnesota, you hate Canada.
How many games did you pick for Winnipeg?
Winnipeg?
Yeah.
6 games.
You said 6? I said 4.
Wow, sweet.
I did say 4, and I know that's a little crazy, but I just thought...
It's going to be great when you're wrong by the end of this episode.
Minnesota's not good. No way. Las Vegas and the Los Angeles Kings. Who'd you pick?
I went and looked at their head-to-head. Vegas beat LA in their first in their first game when they were just beating everybody.
Which kit were they wearing?
Yes, on the pitch, footy. But in the last 3 games that they played against each other, LA has actually been the better team. And I went with LA.
Wow.
I think LA is. I think I said 6. I think I said 6.
Okay. All right, Jesse.
I also have LA, except in 7.
Whoa!
I might have said 7. I'm not sure.
Well,
this Vegas run is over.
Las Vegas, 5 games.
Whoa!
And the reason I said that is, and I understand, listen, I know LA's been there before, but I think Vegas is so damn fast. And I actually, it's interesting today, and I didn't know this afterwards, before I made this pick, but I feel like the faster teams are going to win in the playoffs. Justin Bourne from The Athletic wrote an article about if the playoffs are changing and it's the faster teams that are winning.
Well, if that is the case, then Vegas will kill them. I don't know. I can't imagine Vegas beating the Kings. I just can't. Even though the Kings have had really bad luck in the playoffs since winning the Cup in 2014. I think they have like 3 playoff wins or something like that.
No!
Yeah, exactly.
What do they do?
I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, my gut tells me the Kings. I went with a few gut picks.
Anaheim, San Jose. Anaheim, by the way, the 2nd seed, San Jose the 3rd.
Anaheim has relied heavily on John Gibson this year, and I think they're a good team with when healthy, but when the hell have they ever been that? The Sharks have had a really good second half. I took a little bit of that tip from Andrew Berkshire there, and also Evander Kane has fit in on that team nicely, so I said the Sharks. I think I said 6 or 7.
I did too. Okay, so that's the first round in the West. Let's go first round in the East. We've got Tampa, Jersey. Or should we just stick with the West and then go to the East? What do you think? Let's go with the West. We're already on the West. Let's talk about the West.
Oh, we're going all the way down the bracket. No, let's go to the East.
You want to go to the East?
Yeah.
Okay. Tampa, Jersey. Who'd you pick?
Tampa. I think I said 6. I think Jersey's going to give them some trouble.
See, I said 5 games for that, but I feel like Jersey's... I think Jersey's going to give them some trouble, for sure.
Out of all the teams, there's that element of magic. Jersey has a little bit of that magic. Keith Kincaid has 26 wins, really? Yeah, there's a little bit of magic going on there. I think they're going to give them a little bit of trouble, but I think Tampa ends up winning.
It's probably going to be the series that defense forgot.
Yeah, I think also, by the way, Tampa's penalty kill I was looking at is terrible. I had no idea. I think it's the worst out of any team that made the playoffs. But you know how we keep saying, oh, Tampa's had a poor back half or whatever. They're not the juggernaut that they were at the beginning of the season. I mean, let's be honest.
Tampa.
They're still Tampa, and they've had this locked up forever. So watch them hit another gear, and they're going to make it out of the first round at very least.
Jesse, who'd you take?
I also have Tampa.
How many games?
In 5 games.
Okay. Now, Leafs Bruins.
I want you both to go.
I have the Leafs in 7 games.
The third period of that 7th game would just be awful.
Just going to be cardiac city.
I'm going to have white hair at the end of it. I said Leafs in 6.
I said Leafs in 6.
Interesting.
I feel it in my head, my gut, and my heart.
You know that we are... Like, again, I've already said this, and I say this every year. I'm not going to... If the Leafs are in the playoffs, I'm not betting against them. And I think, so you have to take my fan thing into it. But in all honesty, you know that we are among the few that are actually taking the Leafs. There's not a lot of people giving the Leafs a lot of chance here.
No, other than Leafs fans. I mean, I'm sure a lot of Leaf fans will tell you that, but a lot of the experts I've seen basically everywhere in the States. I think The Athletic.
Eugene Melnyk.
Yeah, Eugene Melnyk. Myrtle, I think, wrote something saying they would win. TSN panel, I think only Andy Petrillo had the Leafs. I don't know what they were saying.
Gus Katsaros says that he thinks that Boston is too top heavy.
I think he's right, man. And like again, just like with the Kings in Vegas, I've seen the Leafs play the Bruins, and they stick with them. Who would you rather play in a 7-game series right now? You're the Leafs, the Bruins, or the Devils?
I'm going to take the Bruins because the Devils gave them all sorts of trouble.
I want the Bruins, and also just that mental aspect of, damn it, I want to beat them.
The Bruins are the much better team.
I know, but did you see the way the Leafs played the Devils?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter about matchups. You take the worst team.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right.
You're probably right.
You take the 8th seed that barely squeaked in the playoffs.
Put it this way, I feel less nervous about the Bruins just because I've seen the Leafs play them better.
That's fair.
That doesn't mean I'm calm about it, believe me.
And then really, the regular season, it's been tough because Bergeron was out, Matthews was out. There was some major injuries when they played each other throughout the year.
So I have something that I think is going up tomorrow morning. So you're going to get this podcast at night. I got a written piece going up tomorrow morning, and I think also my Leafs Bruins series preview video going up. You know what I did today, shortly before coming here? I watched the entire 45-minute video up on Sportsnet's YouTube channel of the whole third period and overtime of Game 7 in 2013.
Why did you do that?
I watched it just to write down my thoughts because it's the first time I've actually watched it since I saw it the first time.
Wow. So, okay, without giving away too much.
It is a time long gone. Wow. Like some of the numbers I saw on the backs of jerseys, this was only 5 years ago. I was like, who is that guy?
Both sides, I'm sure.
The Bruins, much less so. Like the Bruins, there were a couple funny things where you go, there's Dougie Hamilton. I remember when they had Yager. Seguin. Oh my God.
That's right. Yager was playing for them.
I know. And like Seguin, he's like a depth player. With the Leafs, I'm like, who the hell is 39? Who the hell is 32? Oh, it's Josh Levo, but he's so much taller and left-handed. Joel Colburn.
What the? Josh Levo?
No, it was Joel Colburn.
Joel Colburn. I thought you said Josh Levo. Okay.
Matt Fratton was on that team. Randomly, a player shows up. I don't even remember 23. Who the heck was 23?
23. Defense or forward?
Defense.
23. Ryan O'Byrne?
Ryan O'Frickin' Byrne.
Ryan O'Beauty. That was his last season in the NHL. They flipped a 4th for him to Colorado, and he never played in the NHL
and they barely frickin' use him. So this is not the same Leafs team. It's not the same Bruins team either. They're way different.
And what's interesting about that Leafs team is Fraser McLaren and Colton Orr were both dressed. So they couldn't punch their way. They couldn't punch enough goals in. That was the problem with that team.
I didn't see.
It was the third period Ghost that tweeted that. He's like, they couldn't punch enough goals in during that series.
I didn't see Fraser McLaren, so I don't know if he was in there. I didn't look up the box score or anything, but it was just watching it, and it was effing torture. And so I watched it, so you don't have to.
I think those things matter to the players is such a myth. Like, I don't think Matthews carries the 2012 playoff series with him.
Well, Morgan Riley wasn't even on the team.
It doesn't mean anything. It matters to the fans, but the players, like the Flyers in Pittsburgh are playing today.
Yeah.
I don't think that series that they had matters at all.
Oh, the 2012 one?
Yeah, no. But everybody keeps pushing that narrative in the media. But the players aren't thinking about that at all. It's not going to affect the game.
What are there? It's like Malkin and Crosby and Giroux who were left over? Like, who else is left over?
Remember that.
And that was Jeff Carter, Mike Richards Flyers.
Who were the goalies? Fleury?
Yeah.
No, and Crazy Spaceman.
Ilya Bryzgalov.
Yeah, British goalie.
It's a time long gone. That was 2012. Leafs Bruins was 2013. 5 and 6 years ago. Long gone. Leafs will beat them this time.
Okay, Washington, Columbus.
I think it's going to be really tight. I had a hard read on this series.
It's a tough one.
Had a hard time getting a read. I didn't realize one good thing about doing research for this thing was I got to see just how good of a season some players had that I just didn't really realize. John Carlson.
Dog, I'm telling you.
Holy mackerel. I didn't know he was this
50
good.
50 assists or something?
Yeah, the only thing, this series, more than any other, has goalie stealing potential. You got Sergei Bobrovsky, won the Vezina last year, had a really good season this year. He'll be a Vezina nominee, I think.
And Grubauer?
Philip Grubauer, who has been really good, but can he keep it up? Mm-hmm. And then if they need to turn to Holtby, will Holtby be good?
Well, I wonder with the Capitals going into the offseason, if they start to take calls on Holtby, if you can, if you need to replace Karlsson, there's a potential fit with the Flames there, who have a defenseman or two that they could give you.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they lose in the first round this year, let's say, I mean, you thought the Caps went through changes last year. There's going to be some stuff going on this year.
Well, Barry Trotz, this is, I mean, you could argue this is the series that will decide whether or not Barry Trotz is back.
I think you're right. I think I said Caps in 7.
Pittsburgh and Philly. And by the way, Caps Blue Jackets, could you get 2 more American teams, like American just sounding teams? It's the capital of the city and then the Union Army.
Someone did an all emoji matchup in a tweet, and I think this series was just an American flag next to a bang.
Okay, Philly and Pittsburgh. Oh wait, by the way, how many games? Capitals and Blue Jackets.
I think I said 7.
I had Washington in 6.
And you had Washington?
In 7.
I got Washington in 6 as well. Pittsburgh, Philly. What do we think?
I don't remember how many games I said for this. I'm going to say 6, but Pittsburgh. I mean, you're not back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and I feel pretty good about my prediction, having seen the first period, but you never know. They're deep. They still got great players. They got goaltending, which is really what sunk them against Philly 6 years ago. They're just better. They're just better, man.
Yeah, so I said Pittsburgh in 5. Jesse, what did you say?
Pittsburgh in 5.
Okay, let's move quickly here because we have a call. We have a very special guest coming on.
That is right.
Marc Savard in about 5 minutes here. So let's move quickly. Second round Western Conference. We have Nashville, Winnipeg. What'd you take?
By the way, Jesse and I had the same picks for every series in the first round. That's what. Yeah, I was just looking off your bracket. So
we actually were all pretty close, except for I took Vegas.
Yeah.
But Nashville, Winnipeg. Who do we take?
Nashville, Winnipeg. I had Nashville coming out of that. I don't remember how many games. That has the potential to be the series of the playoffs.
I think it is for sure.
That should be. I mean, not should be, because it takes away a scenario from the Leafs, but I think that's the Stanley Cup final. It might be.
It's a war.
It's one of those stupid series where you go, oh, this is the Stanley Cup final in the second round.
How do you pick a bad side in that one? Excuse me. How do you not cheer for both sides?
Like a villain?
Well, there's no villain.
I don't think so. And it's hard to... How do you look at the Predators, the Nashville Predators, as Goliath?
I still don't believe it yet, even though they are. Right? They are, aren't they?
Yeah, they won the President's Trophy. They're Goliath. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They're Goliath.
Yeah, it's just hard to look at them that way. They're definitely that, but it's hard to look at them that way.
They haven't won anything yet, so you have to
That's why.
Be like, hey, they're not 2-time Stanley Cup champions, but once they do it, you'll be like, I hate Nashville.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the Blackhawks
they'd have
used to be like cute and endearing at one point.
They'd have to get a few more outdoor games too. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
And like all the coverage from NBCSN and all that stuff. Okay, so we have Nashville coming out. Jesse, do you have Nashville coming out?
I have Winnipeg winning that series.
Woo! Yes. All right, I've got Nashville winning that series, and the only reason I gave the edge to Nashville is just that defense and the way Pekarine's played. That's the only reason, and it's not because Connor Hellebuck isn't great and isn't because Winnipeg's defense isn't great. It's because Pecorine and that other defense, just for the fact that they've been there.
Yeah, I don't have a fantastic reason. They're both very deep. I just think Nashville's a little deeper.
It'd be great if that went 7 games. I'm just saying.
I would
needs
really, to.
Yeah, I would
for
watch.
the good of the sport.
Yeah. Okay.
And also Rogers.
Second round. Now, you guys have Los Angeles, San Jose, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Who would you take?
I don't remember the amount of games. Well, actually, you don't put the amount of games for the second round. I had San Jose beating LA. I mean, I didn't feel 100% confident about picking LA against Vegas to begin with. So that's why I went with the Sharks. I just think they're a really good team. And like one of the things, like in researching for like a couple of the playoff videos I've done recently, is looking at stats, like team stats for the whole year, just feels kind of dumb.
Right.
Like, what is 30 games not like enough? 30 or 4, or like even the back 41. You know what I mean? And I just feel like the Sharks have been one of the better teams in the league over the back 41.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jesse, who'd you pick?
I have the San Jose Sharks coming out of that.
Okay.
You mentioned the back 31 or 41.
Whatever it is.
You want to do it. Since the last 20 games of the year, the Winnipeg Jets are 15-4.
Oh, man.
Nashville Predators, 15-4.
Oh,
That's excellent.
has to happen.
And that thing you said about the Lightning, about how they had a bad end to the season, I don't know if it's totally true.
Is it like a fake thing that people have been saying?
Yeah, because since January 1st, they had 44 games.
Can we get to
26 and 50.
Can we get to that in a second?
Oh, that's not bad.
That's our next matchup.
Okay. Well, no, it's actually because I haven't given you mine because I said Vegas and San Jose.
Uh-huh.
Vegas, baby.
You got Vegas going on.
I'm rolling on Vegas. All right. Sorry. So Tampa Bay, good back half.
Last 32 games of the season, 20-10, 42 points.
For the Lightning.
That's the fifth best record since February 1st.
Well, count me as wrong then. I was looking at...
It's only because I think it's only because the Bruins were so insanely good. They wanted such a run that it was kind of like, all right, Tampa looks human. Except for if the Bruins hadn't, we'd be like, oh, Tampa's a runaway.
I don't know how it ended, but I think there was a streak where the Bruins were incredible, the Leafs were on this crazy winning streak, and then the Lightning were just like kind of only good.
Yeah. We're only winning 60% of our games.
Yeah, they just kind of
Yeah.
steadied the course in the last 2 months of the season, but they had such a head start that
Yeah.
they didn't need to keep that up.
Man, you win the division in the first 2 months of the playoffs. Or first 2 months of the regular season.
You
for sure.
could. I think also Vasilevsky's performances had something to do with it. I don't remember when I looked this up. I want to say it was in March. And Vasilevsky had allowed 6 goals 3 different times that month. And Tampa won 2 of them. So, I mean, they're just a really good team, man.
So, Tampa, Toronto.
I still pick the Leafs.
Now, do you pick them because...
Don't laugh at me!
Do you pick them because you're the fan, or do you pick them because you genuinely believe the Toronto Maple Leafs can beat the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I picked them partially based on I just think Tampa is going to be wrecked heading into the second round, but...
By New Jersey?
And the
No.
Leafs won't be
Like,
wrecked.
just... Well, okay, Jesse. Just listen.
They'll be wrecked by the New Jersey team. They'll beat
Jesse's
quickly.
new information is making me doubt myself, but I just feel...
He has a habit of doing that.
Yeah.
Steve might have picked the Leafs because of the sweater he's wearing.
LFR. I'm a big Steve Dangle fan.
Okay.
Leafs fan.
Steve Dangle fan.
Okay, quickly. Jesse, who'd you pick?
I have Tampa coming out of there.
Oh,
course you do.
wow. Jesse Trump at it again. Okay.
Thanks.
I picked the Leafs, of course. And as I said, I never bet against the Leafs, but I do think for sure they have a fighting chance in that series. I don't think that's just like Boston Leafs. I don't think it's a blowaway. I just don't.
No. It's going to be super duper tight.
Yep.
And that is going to be a big test for the Leafs if they lose to Boston in the first round. And it's tight. They got to be real weary of making ridiculous moves because that ruins a lot of playoff teams.
Making ridiculous moves, yeah.
They lose a game here or there and they go, oh, we got to make wholesale changes. Now, the Leafs are going to be doing that anyway, it sounds like. But I think they can beat Tampa. I just do.
Washington, Pittsburgh.
Without looking at any numbers, I think Washington has the statistical advantage, but Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right. Quickly, we got to make the phone call. Conference finals. You guys have Nashville versus San Jose. Who's going to the finals?
I have Nashville.
Jesse.
I don't have Nashville.
You have San Jose.
I have Winnipeg.
Oh, Winnipeg. Sorry, Winnipeg.
And I have Winnipeg winning.
Wow.
That is, I mean, whoever comes out of the Central, right?
Pretty tough to beat that. Okay, conference finals. I've got Leafs and Pens. Steve, you got Leafs and Pens. Jesse, you've got Tampa and Caps. Whoa! I forgot to ask you. Sorry. So Tampa Caps. Who do you think?
I have Tampa coming out of there.
I have the dream dying. The Leafs lose to Pittsburgh.
None of you went with the Leafs all the way to the finals?
Dude, Pittsburgh has given the Leafs so much trouble. So much trouble. They just, it'll be if the Leafs play the
beat
Penguins.
Phil Kessel in the conference finals.
If you're picking the Leafs to go to the Stanley Cup final, you're a fan.
Kasperi Kapanen scores the winning goal in overtime.
I want it.
Yeah.
No, okay.
With Phil Kessel on the ice.
So last year, I wanted the Leafs to play the Caps in the first round because they got to play a playoff series against a really good team. This year, if they were able to take on the Penguins, one, they would have a 1-4 shot at winning the Cup. But also, they would get an opportunity to have a series against a really good playoff team. And that is a very key difference. Third year, who knows?
Remember, it took Mario Lemieux 6 years to win his first Cup. So let's not freak out right away, everybody, if it happens. Now, I obviously have Pittsburgh, Toronto, and I picked Toronto.
Actually?
Yeah, because the dream will not die.
No.
Right? I should have had Toronto Vegas. It should have been that.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Oh.
What a series that would be. But anyway, from then on, it doesn't matter how many goals scored, whatever. Steve, you have Tampa, Nashville?
No, I have
Washington.
Nashville.
Pittsburgh.
You have
Pittsburgh, right.
Sorry,
I have a rematch of the 2017 Stanley Cup
Jesse,
final.
you have.
I had Tampa, Winnipeg.
And I have Toronto, Nashville.
I have... So the Pittsburgh Penguins played Detroit in 2008 and lost, got the rematch in 2009, won. The inverse is going to happen this time. Nashville's going to get their revenge and win.
Okay. And I have the Toronto Maple Leafs hoisting their first Stanley Cup since 1967. Are you ready?
I would love that.
It would be the best. I was trying to figure out what we would be doing because I would not, and I say this honestly, there's not two people in the world I would rather watch that with. So we'd have to do something. What would we do? Like, do we just go to Steve's house in Oshawa and party with the dogs?
I have a question after your question, but go ahead.
Jesse's got a smile on his face, which scares me a little bit. He's going to be like, I'm busy with my life.
I'm standing in a Best Buy, and I'm looking at, I need a battery pack for my phone. And I'm just standing there going, I'm going to get the biggest one possible. Because when the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, I'm going to need as much charge as possible. Because I'm just going to stream downtown Toronto till my phone dies. Or whatever city we happen to be in. I don't know. I'm just going
to... Not to like celebrate without your phone?
Oh, I'm going to cry deeply.
Me too.
And like a child. And
I might kiss you guys. Like I might.
I will kiss you guys. Both on the mouth.
just a hot makeout sesh. Okay, that's crazy.
Happiness. I don't know. Wow, Adam.
Wow, I mean, you
anyway, in front of our wives. And they'll understand. So anyway,
they'll understand.
They'll encourage it.
See, now you're getting into a different territory.
Listen. I don't know. I've pictured. It's funny. Some things are difficult to picture. My Stanley Cup fantasy is getting more and more clear.
Oh, wow.
It's getting clearer and clearer.
Now, if I'd asked
Details are revealing themselves.
If we'd asked you that 3 years ago, how clear would it have been?
Just terrible.
It wouldn't even been a thought.
No, eh?
No. Colton Orr passes it to John Michael Lyles.
And he gets bought out. Who passes it to Grabowski, and he gets bought out too.
Grabowski gives it to Matt Fratton.
Crosby batted a puck at him in there.
Is it 4-0?
So he's just having fun now.
Which time?
No, like now.
Oh, you mean, you didn't mean in his career?
No.
Oh, okay, you meant like tonight.
My question that I wanted to ask you guys. Are predictions useless?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but they're fun.
Okay.
They're totally
Obviously,
fun.
they're useless. I did a video today where my dogs predicted the winner. And by the way, it was a great way to filter people who are there to have fun and people who are kind of...
like dicks about it and won't take it too seriously.
Haters of fun.
There are a few of those on the internet.
Because everyone happened to...
what the internet was...
Oh my God. Oh my God. Especially recently. There have been some takes, and not even sports takes, just things.
A lot of people who I think are usually good people, maybe they just were trying to be clever, but they couldn't help but notice that the dogs who picked their winners by taking a treat out of my hand, choosing a treat out of one of my hands, they couldn't help but notice that Iggy and Charlie both always chose my right hand because I clearly usually feed them right-handed. They're dogs making Stanley Cup predictions. It's a 2-minute video. Can you last? Can you last 2 minutes? Can you last 120 seconds of just enjoying the dogs eating treats? The dogs are happy. They're getting fed. Why are you happy?
You don't like fun at reply yourself.
Yeah.
No, do it. You're in that character. You don't like fun at reply yourself. How would you respond to that when you don't like fun?
You know, you could have like added more variables to it. You could have had it so that they were actually picking. And if someone was actually like, you could have had it so that there was more like free choice. And I didn't think they were kidding. Like I rigged it so that because I knew Iggy in his heart wanted the Jets to win, but I wanted to rig it so that he said Minnesota. Are you all right? It is a 3-year-old golden doodle.
This is one of your best rants.
He doesn't have nuanced hockey takes. He likes treats. He likes dubs. And we have to call them dubs because he knows that word, W-A-L-K.
Oh.
He likes trips to the DP, the D-O-G-P-A-R-K.
He knows that too? He knows that word?
Oh, yeah. Oh, does he ever? And just in case other people, it'd be like playing the doorbell sound. Everyone's dogs would just start freaking out. What else is he loves his mother. He likes snuggles. He loves his nonna.
How much hockey has he watched, would you say?
Some.
Does he watch the screen?
Yeah. He actually likes soccer more.
Ah.
You know why?
There's a ball.
Because they have a ball he can chase. Iggy would never voluntarily chase a puck.
Would you say he's a smart hockey dog?
I say he's a trusted soccer chap. That's what I would say.
A trusted football canine?
Absolutely. And his hockey knowledge is novice at best, Jesse. So can you all lay off of my 3-year-old and 7-year-old golden doodles and their hockey picks? And if you're one of those people and they beat you at your pool, you are barred from watching hockey forever. I don't care if it is your most treasured activity with your mother or father. You're barred forever.
Didn't TSN used to have a monkey? They had a
Maggie
monkey.
the macaque.
NHL's Instagram had 2 dogs as well picked out of bowls to pick who would win the.
And what did the NHL do to ensure the integrity of those picks? Jesse, what did they do to ensure that there was no shenaniganery going on?
They got the same breed of dog.
So did I.
Okay.
We're not totally sure he's adopted. Kind of looks weird. I don't think he's a full golden doodle.
Here's my question. Because this is what I always get. Obviously, you're going to get some of the series in the first round wrong. Obviously. So my favorite thing is you picked this series against my team and we won and the team you picked didn't. Your hockey opinion sucks.
I'm a Penguins fan and you're a right-handed prick. That's what you are, Steve Dangle. Noted Flyers fan, Steve Dangle. Noted Sharks fan, Steve Dangle. Shut up! They're dogs. They're good dogs with good picks.
Hey, also funny. Not quite as funny, but also sort of very NHL.
Also 5-0 Pittsburgh.
Wow. Can't wait to see how Philly
also
wins.
Funny.
Oh my God, my dogs are idiots, aren't they?
Did they pick Philly?
They both pick Philly.
What a bunch of fucking losers. When I see them next, I'm going to tell them.
Like,
Poodle ass losers.
why did you could have put them on the ground so that they could have actually picked them and not done it out of your head?
Yeah, how did you rig it so they'd pick Philly?
Because so I had green treats and red treats. Mm-hmm. If you picked a green treat, you picked the higher seeded team in the series. If you picked the red treat, it was the lowest one. And I didn't care which hand either treat went in. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I had the red treat in my right hand both times when I was talking about Philly-Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So my Penguins hating dogs.
So your dogs like your
Whoa.
hand better?
Because I feed them right-handed usually, I guess. Because I'm right-handed and I do most of my things with right hands. I write.
So you did rig it.
I totally rigged it.
Your comments are right.
It couldn't be that the dogs were just randomly eating treats It couldn't be that.
That their dog?
The
Or that they're
animals.
excited about their eating treats. Like, hey, we're eating treats.
I
That's
caught
great.
Charlie eating poop earlier this week. Do you really think anything sinister is going on? Only in his stomach. And actually, it didn't go that bad.
I hope he doesn't
It went
kiss you in
worse
the
in
face.
the comments.
Okay. Also funny, NBC and the USA Network had some issues and that sort of thing. We have and continue to receive great cooperation from CNBC and the USA Network because of programming conflicts on Wednesday night, April 18th. That's next week. For the first time, we will extend hockey coverage to the Golf Channel.
It's awesome. Actually,
So
that won't be the only game. There'll be
two, right?
Yeah, there'll be two.
I don't know.
Game 4.
Who are they? I don't know.
I had the schedule here, and I don't have it.
Yeah, but
Oh, the Golf Channel?
so the Golf
Yeah.
Channel is because it's NBC has a commitment to put hockey games on television.
Now, Wyshynski threw out something interesting. He said maybe this is NBC's little, hey, fuck you for not giving us the damn Olympics.
I think probably.
Yes.
They put it on the
Or-
golf. That's a real like there's specialty channels and then there's like Uber
Well,
specialty
you
channels.
took away 2 weeks of solid hockey coverage for the Olympics from us.
Counter argument, NBC can't afford to lose the plethora of wealth that will be brought to them by Game 4 of Anaheim San Jose.
Oh, you're right.
I think it
40
is.
people watching at the beach.
It is FU with all caps, I think is what it is. All caps except no caps. They'll be on the Golf Channel playing the Blue Jackets.
That's right.
yes.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, the Golf Channel will get back-to-back NHL Game 4s.
So great.
Here's what's airing in those blocks on the other channels.
This is from Travis Yost. Yes.
On NHL Network, 6 hours of NHL Tonight, which is not good.
So they can't put it on the NHL network?
On NBC, the main network, Family Feud and local news. On CNBC, Shark Tank reruns. On USA Network, where some games will also be showed. Law and Order SVU
No
and Suits reruns.
Way!
And they chose to put it on the Golf Channel instead of replacing maybe Family Feud.
CNBC is showing Shark Tank before
Reruns.
the Sharks. Actually.
Yo, Steve Harvey can outrate hockey games.
I mean, on his own.
I'm sure.
Shark Tank reruns can.
Oh, Jesus. That is funny. I didn't know that.
That's what
That is very funny.
They should just have a show called Steve Harvey Reacts to Things He Finds Preposterous.
Now,
There should be a YouTube channel devoted to that. Just Steve
Reading
Harvey
tweets
reactions.
from weird Twitter. And he just goes, "Pshaw."
Somebody makes a sexual innuendo that's slightly inappropriate.
And the crowd loses it. Steve Harvey throws his paper in the air. 5 minutes of gut-clenching, vomit-inducing laughter.
and walks away slowly.
They
Just
can't
walks away
control
slowly.
this. Yeah, with his little,
little stutter
shiver,
step.
Just,
Yeah.
oh my God, clutching things because what you said made so little sense. Steve Harvey. Sorry.
I don't care.
literally what Family Feud is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's why I love Steve Harvey. He's
Final
freaking
question
hilarious.
regarding this.
the husband doesn't get it. Sorry, yes.
Will there be more people watching the game on the Golf Channel, or more people, more golf fans complaining that they can't watch whatever programming was supposed to be there?
I'm going to say,
Which population
Oh man,
is
I want
higher?
this Dustin Johnson retrospective that you
Yeah.
promised me. I don't know.
Are there more golf fans who are upset than hockey fans who want to watch that?
no, golf
it's the
fans
middle
will
of
be
the
in
week,
bed.
though.
Because
So-
they're at night. Golf fans will be in bed.
True. And it's not the weekend.
Okay.
Because the practice rounds start, what, Thursday? Or do the actual tournament play starts Thursday?
Oh, tournaments are on Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, Wednesday's practice rounds, they might be a little upset.
Golf
saying.
Channel's got to be a bit like the zoo. Busy on the weekends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we got to call Marc Savard.
Yeah, we do.
Marc Savard's going to be on our show.
And he fatted on an advac.
And joining us on the podcast, one Mr. Marc Savard.
Ooh, noted media man.
Yes. No. Marc, nice of you to pick up the phone.
Yeah, nice of you guys to get things figured out. I'm happy to be on.
Yeah, we had some board troubles off the air, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, you're all over the place, man. I had to talk to Jeff Merrick to get a hold of you. You were on Hockey Central at noon. What were you talking about there?
We covered the first 3 games tonight of the playoffs, and touched on some more Humboldt, the sad news over there, and basically all that stuff. So it was a good day.
That's right. And then I think you had some stuff just before coming on the show. Was that more media stuff?
I did some, actually, that was my men's night golf draft tonight. I was one of the captains, so that's where I was.
What is that? Explain that one.
Golf draft. Yeah, go ahead and explain that.
Well, what happens is every men's night, we play Wednesdays up here. We have 8 different teams, and we have captains, and every night there's like 10 to 15 guys on each team around there, and you count like your 2 gross scores and like 5 net scores. Whoever wins will win some pro shop credit. We'll pay first, second, and third every Wednesday. So it's a fun little thing we do every Wednesday up here, and we have a great time.
And what's your handicap?
I am a 0.
Whoa. Freaking athletes, man. They're good at everything.
Not just athlete, NHL player.
Good at golf. Yeah.
Although, I mean, you were on the Bruins, man. You didn't do a whole lot of golfing.
No, I got my golfing in when I was in Atlanta, to be honest with you. That's when I really picked it up. Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
I forgot about that.
Drove that team right out.
Are you responsible for the Thrashers being in Winnipeg, personally?
Yeah, I'm responsible. I was on the golf course while they were playing hockey games, so that's what happened.
Mark,
you reminded me of one of the dumbest hockey things I've actually ever read. And I was reading, I remember, this was years ago. I worked at the Toronto Zoo. I was at the stroller rental. And on slow days, you had to read to pass the time. So I read the hockey news. And I remember reading a projection for the Atlanta Thrashers, and they had your points. I don't know, I think it was like middle of the pack. Like they said you were going to get like 55 points or something like that. Because, and I quote, even on bad teams, someone has to score. and I remember just being like, I as a Leaf fan, no, they don't.
They don't.
They don't. On bad teams, no one has to score. But I think you technically hold the Jets record for assists with 69, right? Or did that get broken by Blake Wheeler?
No, I texted Wheels last game. He turned it off. He said for me. He ended up with 68. He wanted me to feel good. Yeah, he wanted me to feel good for a little bit more. So he held off. He said graciously. So I still got that record, and I'm sure it'll be surpassed. But they got a great team up there, and I'm just watching. They just scored. They're up 1-0 here in their first round series. Shifley from Mr. Wheeler. So there you go.
There you go. All right.
There's 69 right there.
So Mark, I got to ask you, can you, as a former Bruin, can you look at this the Leafs Bruins first round matchup objectively? Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I grew up a Leafs fan. That's where I grew up. I was down the road in Oshawa playing for the Generals, and getting up to Maple Leaf Gardens and being around that whole atmosphere. That's what really drove me to be an NHL hockey player, watching the Leafs at Maple Leaf Gardens. So, my heart's kind of torn, but obviously, I spent most of my career in Boston and, won a cup there with the boys. So it's a tough one. And to be honest with you, I've been in 2 hockey pools already, and up here in Peterborough where I live now, everybody's a Leafs fan. So I was kind of able to walk and take all the Bruins guys. So I'm torn, but I have all Bruins in my playoff pool. So I'm hoping a nice 7-game series and maybe the Bruins sneak it out. So it's going to be a good one, though, to watch for sure.
Absolutely. And I know most of the experts, and again, it's predictions, right? Who can really know before the first game starts to how the series is going to go. And even after you see the first game, it can still go the other way. But the predictions are mostly going the Bruins' way. And I think rightfully so, in the sense that they've been absolutely dominant in the second half of the year. There have been a few that have come in, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. Depth in the playoffs is important, especially in the playoffs. When you're going into the first round, the Boston Bruins really have that dominant first line, but there's an argument to be made that the Toronto secondary could be better. What are your thoughts on that, on the way that matches up forward-wise?
I honestly think it's pretty even, and David Krejci, who's the second line center on the Bruins, behind that top line, he wasn't fully healthy the whole year, and he had a decent statistical year. I think he was around 65 games, 45 points. So, I mean, it's not fair to say that. But they're both really talented up front. I think where this series is going to be won and lost is in the net. And Anderson has had a fantastic year, Freddie, and he's been their MVP. So I honestly think on that side of things, I love Tuukka, and he's had a fantastic year as well. It's a little bit of a slow start. I kind of give the edge going into the series with Anderson right now. He's been terrific. I mean, I watched a lot of the Leaf games this year, and he's been a stud. The Leafs, only problem with the Leafs, they give up some grade A scoring chances, a lot of them. So that's what they're going to have to try and watch in the playoffs, because you don't give up a lot of chances in the playoffs. I think it's a lot more tight checking, and if they're going to give up some quality chances, they're going to run into some trouble. But I think this series is going to come down to who can outbattle who in the net.
Who were some players when you were playing who, you played them during the regular season and, you probably acknowledged them. You're like, yeah, I know that's a good player. But when the playoffs came, they were just a monster. They were just something different. The first name that comes to mind for me is Patrice Bergeron, obviously. I want to know who it is for you.
Well, I mean, in my playing days, I mean, there was, guys that come off the top of my head really quick. I'm thinking of Justin Williams, just a game breaker in the playoffs. Unfortunately, he went to Carolina this year and is not in the playoffs, but he's one for sure. And even like the year that the Bruins won the Cup, and I was unfortunately injured at the time, but I was around, and David Krejci was fantastic that year. I think he led the league in points. Just had a terrific season, was able to stay healthy. So there's a lot of guys that step up at this time of year, and there's going to be some unsung heroes. You see the guys that don't do a lot in the regular season, and all of a sudden they get on a roll in the playoffs, and it's just like bang, and they score a lot of goals and they make a big name for themselves. So we're looking for someone to step up this year. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting to watch for sure.
Well, and more importantly, how do they all tape their sticks? I got to know.
Tell you every tape job you want to know, I know.
Yeah, okay. Sean, I think his name's Sean Kuraly, the fourth line center, or fourth line. Kuraly, yeah, that guy.
Kuraly, just a pretty normal tape job, just about mid-blade, right over the toe. And to be honest with you, I've never taken a look at his knob.
I mean, in fairness,
his handle.
Yeah,
his handle, so I don't know
that. Oh, is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, let's talk about Zdeno's knob then. How does he tape his stick?
Chera's kind of like a mid-blade, like 2 inches from the heel, leaves 2 inches from the toe, kind of mid-blade. He does a thicker handle, kind of, because he's got those big mitts on him. So he goes around like 3 times, like not very long, but goes around 3 times. So I know all of them. I've studied them, and I don't know if I studied them. I just notice it. Something I notice, like when I'm on the ice. And I think being a centerman too, as a face-off guy, you're just leaning over sometimes to draw, and you just kind of look around and notice it. So that's kind of how I pick up on a lot of them.
David Pastrnak.
Oh,
it's bad, right?
That is gross. Yeah, it is. It is gross. I've done it on my YouTube channel, and it is gross. And actually, I think I nailed it. The trainer called me and he said that's bang on. So if you're looking for a Pastrnak tape job, which I hope you're not, check it out on my YouTube channel.
Okay, good tease.
I mean, it looks disgusting, but I mean, you look at it. Yeah, you look at his numbers. Like, why is it working for him, you think?
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. You can't complain, right? When a guy's putting up the statistics that he has, I don't know. And it's just something that I guess he's done since he's been young. I'd like to ask him. I don't know the whole story behind that tape job, but it's something that he just kind of tosses on there pretty quickly. And like I said, you can't argue with his stats that he gets from it.
Mark, question for you. Who do you think is more conflicted about this first round? You, a Leafs fan, former Bruin, or Don Cherry, a Leafs fan, former Bruin?
I'm going to go with Don. Don's been around a lot more, and he's got the tougher job there on Coach's Corner every night. So I'm going to go with Don having a tougher call every night. But I think deep down, Don's got the Bruins at heart. You know, that's where he coached, and I think he's kind of pulling for them in a roundabout way, but we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
I think you're bang on. Worst case, he can just wear blue and yellow. Just every.
And they go so well together, right?
Yeah, just every hockey night in Canada. So I've seen, there's obviously some former NHLers who are really good at the whole Twitter thing, social media thing. Brad Marchand is actually a guy who's got a great Twitter account and he's still playing. Some guys have a good podcast. No one has really taken a crack at YouTube. What made you want to get a YouTube channel?
Well, to be honest, it just happened out of nowhere. I was on 31 podcasts with Elliot and Jeff Merrick, and they asked me about tape jobs, and it got a little more interesting. And then I got some Twitters like, can you show us your tape job, blah blah blah. So I tried to make it for Twitter, but the session was too long. So my 18-year-old brilliant son's like, Dad, let's start a YouTube channel and make millions. So I'm like, oh, okay. Fire it up, son. So he fired up the channel. We got our first one on there, and it's just taken off since there. People are loving it, and we got some sponsors, and now we started Project 91 for concussion research. So if you go to project91.ca, you're able to buy hats. I had 144 hats. They went in 3 days.
Wow.
So so it's been great. And then like I said, I'm going to give some funds to concussion research out of that, and and now we're making hoodies, and we're going to make another set of hats. So it's really been a fun thing. We've been having a lot of fun with it. My wife's, behind it all too, and I got a good buddy out of Windsor. He's behind it, and my son. So we're just having a great time with it, and then hopefully it just continues to roll into the summer. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the summer though. I might have to show my golf clubs or something like that. Which
you should. So we're sure you should.
Yeah. Well, in the bag with Savvy week to week.
That's sort of what we end up doing because we do this podcast throughout the summer. We dial it back to once a week, but we, it inevitably devolves into random stories about our lives. So, if you got any stories from the road or whatever, that might be a good time.
Yeah, filler.
Yeah, that might be a good
filler.
Yeah, fillers, exactly.
Interviews, that works. Mark, Steve mentioned your Twitter account, and I think elephant in the room. There was a comment made about you by Steve Simmons of the Toronto Sun this past weekend. And I think you handled it beautifully on Twitter. You said, this one hurt. And obviously, I'm going to paraphrase what Steve said, but essentially it was Marc Savard never picked up the phone.
Yeah. I guess, Adam, sorry, you were going to ask.
I guess my question to you is, Mark, do you have any idea where that came from and why? I mean, listen, man, I've been watching you. I've been watching you play. I've watched all your interviews. I'm talking to you now. There doesn't seem to be a mean bone in your body. What's the deal there?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't recall him ever reaching out. That's first off, and second off, when I was a player, people say stuff in the media or do stuff, and you never really want to lash back. You just want to kind of go on the ice and do your thing. But this one really stung because I don't think he understood what I went through. And, at first it was going to be a little bit more of a heated answer, but then I took my time to cool off. And with the help of my wife, we came up with what we wrote. And I really felt like he was in the wrong there, and he doesn't understand the whole mental health stuff. And I went through some dark days, and that's why it really stung with me. And I had a tough day that day after I read that. I didn't even read it actually. My buddy called me and said, "Geez, you got to take a look at this." And he sent it through to me, and I thought, I don't want to go at a guy. I don't think that's the right way to do it. I just wanted to let him know that this is what I've kind of gone through, and I wish he would maybe take it back. So that's where it ended up, but. Life goes on, and hopefully he gets better from that or whatever happens. But it's for him to say something where he doesn't understand what I went through is I think he was in the wrong there. Well,
and speaking of what you went through, how are you doing now?
Well, and now I'm in a great place, and that's why I've come out now. I really did disappear a bit because, I was going through some tough days. I wasn't comfortable, really being out there, staying around, my family and friends, and just kind of, hiding out here in Peterborough until I felt really comfortable. And I got to that point, and now I'm in a great place, and now I feel like I can give back to hockey, and that's what I really thought about over the years. What am I going to do to give back? Am I going to coach? Am I going to do some media? And really, the media thing didn't come on. I started doing a couple interviews on Sirius XM. I'm on the Power Play, every Wednesday, and I got some calls from TSN and Sportsnet. So it was, a choice I wanted to make, and I decided, do some Sportsnet stuff, and here I am today, just really enjoying life and happy to give back to the game that's basically given me everything that I have.
Mark, for anybody that's gone through, or for anybody that might be going through what you're going through, or what similar to what you went through, because head injuries are not just a hockey thing. You can be in a bad accident, car accident. You can be snowboarding. It can happen. In a general sense, what do you recommend for proper health and for tools that they should reach out and find? Is there literature? Is there is it meditating? Is
art?
It like what art? What is it what helped you? I guess is the best question.
I think just surrounding myself, with family, friends, and just being open. When I didn't have a good day, talk about it, and talk to your wife or your therapist. I had a great therapist in Boston, Dr. Steve Durant, who really helped me through at the darkest days. Just be open, don't sit on something that's really bothering you. Talk about it. And I know it's tough. At times, but I think it's the best way to go about it. And just see the right people. I had Dr. Tatter out of Toronto, Charles Tatter, just phenomenal, really guided me in the right direction. We don't know everything about concussions, but we're starting to get more, and that's why I'm giving the concussion research. I'd love to speed up the process. It's just so tough. The brain's such a tough thing. But my biggest advice to anybody, and I've been, an advocate that if you need to reach out to me, you have my Twitter at msavvy91, my Instagram at msavvy9191, and if you want to write me a message, I get those requests, and I've gone through them. I look through them all the time, and if I can help anybody out, I'm willing to do so.
That's amazing. Well, and Mark, can you let us know? Because now that you're on, we consider you a friend of the show. Can you let us know if you're doing any sort of events or fundraisers or charities or anything that's coming up? Do you have anything planned other than what you discussed, or is there something in the works that we might find out about later?
Well, right now, I like I said, I started this project91.ca, and I'm selling. I'm doing some hats. I'm going to be doing some hoodies, and then back in some more hats, some Bruins colored ones. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and just so I can give some money to concussion research, and then my YouTube channel, I'm going to continue to do out that and give some giveaways, and that's at msavvy91 as well. Just do some giveaways and stuff like that. So that's kind of all I have right now in the forecast. Maybe a golf tournament down the road here I'm looking into, but right now I'm doing my best on giving back and taking it one day at a time.
As long as we don't have to play against you. Jesse, go ahead, man.
Hey, Mark, what are the odds we'd see a Steve Dangle, Marc Savard crossover on YouTube?
Ooh, anytime. Yeah, set it up.
I'd love that, man. I'm out in Schwallywood, so we're not that far apart. If you ever want to do that, or even if you just need help with the channel, like I've been doing it for 11 years. I feel like I could show you the ropes, kid.
Okay. I am a rookie.
Can we do a BFR? So you do an LFR, and concurrently he does a BFR.
He does a Bruin FR, and just
Bruin fan reaction.
Screams about them losing.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Mark, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate how honest you were, and I hope this isn't the last time. Let's talk again.
Hey, anytime you guys need me, reach out. Just get your stuff together. First call. I need you guys ready to go.
It really did take us a while to get the board together. Yeah, he's right. Hey, Mark, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, boys, take care. Enjoy the playoffs.
Well, that was fun.
That was pretty good.
He is man. I obviously we saw the Simmons stuff, and I figured he'd go at it with class there. And he did this. He did what we always talk about, specifically you, Steve, when we talked about the tweet where he said, I took my time answering.
Oh,
Took
man.
a deep breath and answered.
Yeah, no one has ever regretted sending a late tweet. Taking a second to tweet. It's one of the things I think I've gotten better at. Not perfect, but
for sure.
There are so many tweets in the drafts in my brain that, thank God I didn't send that out.
Now, can you Can you say that?
Say them all now? Yes, I can.
Could you say that the same applies for columnists for specific newspapers? That maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I saw a few people talking about that, and Simmons doesn't get called out enough by his peers or whatever. He's, for the most part, it's just hot takes. Like just hockey takes I disagree with for the most part. And there's probably some other stuff I miss. This was just out of nowhere and uncalled for. And not good content either.
There wasn't anything like Marc Savard did this and I'm mad about it. It was just a passive aggressive sort of swipe.
Well, it was when he calls don't answer. So it was a call to action, or I guess rather a call to inaction to his media peers that got published in the Sun?
Mm-hmm. Toronto Sun.
So you're writing that to like 15 people in your paper that reaches thousands. Like
I'm kidding.
I just didn't understand it.
12 people.
Thousands and thousands of seats on GO trains.
That's true, right?
What?
It's true. That's where you find it. Listen, that's where people read it.
That is literally where Sun newspapers end up.
That's where people read it.
I may or may not have read a couple papers on trains.
Of course.
In my day. Of course. Yeah, no, I just didn't understand it. And also, I don't know. How cool would it be? I've wanted to talk to Marc Savard ever since I saw he got a YouTube channel. So
yeah, this is cool. You definitely need to do a crossover.
Yeah, God, yeah. Oh my God,
sick idea.
Oh, he doesn't know what to do this summer. I do. Talk to your pal Steve. Dangle, that is, not the enemy Steve.
So we got some stuff to do. We got to cover a lot of ground here.
It feels like the show's been 10 hours because we've been taking like 20-minute pauses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he was chirping us because we did like one of those 5 minutes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
It was just working a second ago. Hello?
Really professional here at Sportsnet.
It was literally just working, though, and for some reason it didn't. I don't know.
We figured it out.
Senators Town Hall.
Which one?
The one yesterday. What was interesting about this is the first thing Eugene Melnyk said. The first thing he said...
Smithers, turn my mic on.
Was that... He used to be a Toronto Maple Leafs season ticket holder. That was the first thing he said. The second thing he said was that the Leafs will get blown out by the Boston Bruins in 5 games. This is the Senators Town Hall, and this is the first thing he's talking about.
That is just him trying to endear himself to the fans. Like ripping on the Leafs for the owner of the Sens is his version of, finally! The huge has come back to Canada. Like that is his...
The huge?
The huge has come back. That is his...
It doesn't matter what your parking costs.
Yeah, that's his call to action.
That's wrestling
with the fans.
For anybody who doesn't know.
Yes.
The Rock. Yes.
Yeah, and then heel Rock.
Will he call the Ottawa media a bunch of jabronis?
Yeah.
Because I hope
he does. Couldn't tell you how upset I am to be here in the stink hole of Chicago. Everyone he talks about, he's in Toronto and he talks about how the Leafs suck. Oh, boo! Like he just knows how to he gets the crowd going. But no, we got face Eugene here, not heel Eugene. So he's trying to get all the fans on his side. Talking about, the Leafs suck. We used to be a season seed holder. Boo. But now I think they suck. Yeah! That's how we saw it playing out in his head.
Well, there were some boos directed at him and Pierre Dorion. And
I mean, there should have been.
If there's anybody you don't want to be in that room, it's Pierre Dorion.
That's just all whenever I see him.
So the first question, of course, is from the crowd. I'm going to go out of order here, but I'm pulling all the clips and stuff together because it goes back to Erik Karlsson about 18 times throughout the Senators Town Hall. Now, a couple things that are important, and I got to give a big shout out to Brett Wallace and Ian Mendes, who both covered it. Obviously, it's TSN has all the rights.
Ian Mendes, formerly of Sportsnet.
He was a radio show up there, but those are the ones that were really covering it because that's they have the regional games there. Now,
boy, Mendes had a really good tweet about the monorail.
Yeah. Now that you won't get it if we explain it on the podcast, on Erik Karlsson. It says, Pierre Dorion has now taken the stage. First order of business is Erik Karlsson. We will offer Erik Karlsson a contract on July 1st. It's important our fans know that. We hope he'll remain a Senator for years to come. Now, I'm going to continue. These are quotes later on. At the end of the day, it'll be his choice. If we offer him a fair contract and he doesn't want to sign here, then we'll have to look at other options. The ball will be in his court. And then Dorian was asked by a fan about Erik Karlsson at the deadline. We never actively shopped Erik Karlsson. We got offers on almost every player on our roster. It's your job to listen.
Which Travis Yost said was a lie.
Yes. Well, and here's my question. If you call someone back, is that shopping or is that still listening?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, if you're taken and a girl approaches you in the club and you're like, no, I got
let me go back to your apartment.
And then like an hour later, after a couple drinks, you're like, on second thought, wait a second. No, that's...
I mean, we talked about making out. We never made out, but we talked.
Honey, I didn't initiate it the first time. What? Yeah, no, that's...
They were on the phone with Vegas from what we know, right up until the deadline passed.
That was the hot rumor, and it sounded like it was pretty close to happening.
Melnyk on Erik Karlsson's contract. If it's a question of dollars, there are teams out there who can outgun us. The cap gives us a fighting chance. There's only so far you can go, and we're going to go as far as we can. If it's a question of dollars, there are teams that can outgun us 5-1. We could get outgunned.
Faisal Kamisa with an excellent tweet pointing out that no, Erik Karlsson still has a year left on his contract. If you trade him, it's because you traded him.
There's no bidding war when there's nothing to bid on.
There will be one.
But you have him under contract.
By the way, none of this is available recorded or on video because Melnyk would not allow the media to record any audio or any video.
And you know what's going to be great about that is when they come out and go, actually, all of these things were paraphrased and they're wrong and a misrepresentation. You know what could have stopped that, huge, is if you let people record it. There's no need to paraphrase. There's no need to jot things down, friggin' home stenographer, to get your crazy quotes about your team captain.
I would imagine somebody turned on a recorder.
Oh, yeah.
I would think somebody had their iPhone on, maybe running a feed back to the station. I would just throw that out. That's what I would do.
I had a history professor in university who forbid anyone from recording his classes.
Why?
And I would take 13 pages of notes every class. And then I was just like, this is really dumb. And guess what I listened to in the car to and from my girlfriend's house? His class.
Why would you not record? What the hell is that?
Girlfriend, no wife. I don't know. It's real.
We actively want you to fail.
No, I suppose, what if I upload it and then it's...
So what?
People getting a free education.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
That's what matters.
All I know is I recorded it and kept it for myself.
Makes me crazy.
That's all I know. And then deleted
Eugene also, and this is paraphrasing, still told people not to believe the basement bloggers in reference to Bobby Ryan's contract being thrown in with Karlsson. The basement bloggers that reported this story originally were, I believe, Mackenzie Friedman and Pierre LeBrun.
Kick the media. Yeah.
I'm sure Elliot Friedman owns a basement, but he probably has 3 stories above the basement. He probably goes down there occasionally, but...
Maybe play some NHL 3s?
Yeah!
That's where he stores his gold and platinum plated things. Because he's Elliot freaking Friedman.
So I guess you're not wrong?
Just kick the media out or prevent the media from recording. The media can't be trusted.
It's Trumpian.
What Stanley Cup contending team is like reporters are lying?
None.
How many times last year when the Sens are in the conference final did they accuse the media of lying?
Never.
And they covered the story of Clark MacArthur, and they were lying, and Craig Anderson, and they're lying, and Bobby Ryan having a resurgence, and they're lying, and Karlsson playing on a broken foot, and they're lying. Maybe you suck, and you should stop talking. But he won't do that.
No.
I believe that suggestion has been made to him by many.
So
I blog from my basement, huge. I own my house.
But you didn't report it.
That advice is free.
You didn't report it.
No, I didn't. And I am reporting that Steve Dangle says you should shut up. Also, I hope no Ukrainians try to get into my computer.
So here's
those 2 things are unrelated.
Unrelated. Alleged Ukrainians.
Alleged they may or may not. They might be Polish.
They might have been. They might have been. Now, that's deep internet. For anybody that doesn't get that, well, it's deep. Anyway.
There are things that have been said.
So here's...
Sidney Crosby had a natural hat trick. By the way, it's 7-0.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
That's insane.
There should be a clause where if you hit 8, the series is over.
No.
Imagine. It's like a bye.
That's so bad.
There would be lawsuits. I think Philadelphia would sue the NHL if that was a rule.
No.
Anyways.
Yes.
So...
They would hire a private investigator to investigate whether or not... Sorry, was that another... Just another... Adam, I don't know where we go from here other than the Sens need to stop talking. They seemed... You said with the whole Leafs thing, they went into the press conference or they went into the town hall. That's how they started it.
That's not how you want to set the tone.
Well, no, it is. Because they went in with the clear intention of pushing a certain story and presenting themselves a certain way. They're anti-Leafs, all Ottawa, we're the Sens, and if Erik Karlsson does not want to stay an Ottawa Senator for our price, then we're just going to be left with no option but to trade him.
That sure is his fault.
It's going to be, they're already framing a trade that hasn't happened as Erik Karlsson's fault. That's the beginning, middle, and end of it, and all the rest is noise.
So people are afraid... naturally of Erik Karlsson leaving, right? As Sens fans, of course you are.
Yeah.
This is
that
the
might
best
be the end of your franchise.
Yeah, it could. Well, especially the way Eugene spoke. Now we'll get to that part. But hear me out on this one. Because Pierre Dorion put forth an argument about
let's hear it.
UFAs in general and Ottawa. And I guess he was referring to the franchise's history. I wouldn't know though, because quite frankly, I don't have a recording of it.
Well, Adam, what did someone jot down?
What was jotted down was Pierre Dorion said,
it's like camping.
How many UFAs have even left here?
Like he asked the question?
As in like, I mean, it's not something that happens all the time. It's not like everybody leaves Ottawa. How many UFAs who have really left here? Somebody in the crowd responded, what about Alfie? And Melnyk goes, that was different. He wanted to go to Detroit. And the crowd booed him.
Well, why did he want to go to Detroit?
No, wait. He didn't want to be there, but it's not his fault.
So many feet in their mouth that should be called a human centipede. Stop talking.
Pierre Dorion said he will not trade Erik Karlsson at the draft. The room apparently exploded in applause. To me, you don't want to applaud that. The draft is where I want him traded.
Yeah.
Because you're not re-signing him. Unless he takes a haircut on the price, and why would he?
Well, and in your own words, if teams call, you got to listen. What if someone calls you ahead of the draft
and goes, I'll give you what you wanted.
You trade him at the thing you said you wouldn't trade him at. A GM's word is mud. I mean, Marc Bergevin...
They get paid for that.
Ruined that for everyone after it had been ruined by hundreds of others before him, you know?
It's why I respect Lou, because he makes no pronouncements. He makes no guarantees. He'll talk to you and talk to you and talk to you. And what do you find out? Basically nothing.
Nothing.
And that's why Lou's so great at it. He's like, he plays the media beautifully. Gives you big, long answers. Absolutely nothing to them.
Listen, like I keep saying shut up and don't say anything. I think it's great when a team is transparent and honest with their, especially like their season seat holders and stuff like that.
Yeah, but what if your honesty is dumb?
No, it's not honesty. I think they're pushing a certain thing.
You really do? I think their honesty's dumb too. I think that their perspective is the problem.
It might be both.
I think they're being honest. I think this is
exactly what they think, and their management is just really poor. Like they don't really know what they're doing. Like they're being honest about it.
I'll go to bat for someone related to this who I've been criticizing all year, and that's Peter Chiarelli, because I read a quote from him that was it a mistake to not get a defender to replace Andrej Sekera while he was out injured? And he said, if I could do it all over again, I would have. Right? So he didn't say, I have no regrets. He didn't try to push, we're not making any mistakes. We got our, it's just bad luck and injuries, which is an excuse that we've heard come out of Montreal. He just basically went, I goofed. I goofed. Now, there's plenty of other things that were said that were not encouraging, but I mean, I think that's the way you do it. You make a mistake, you own it. Don't lie to people. People are too smart.
He called it an oversight. That's the quote.
That is a delicate way of putting it, and that's maybe how I would have said it.
See, now, oversight is a weird word, or weird couple of words smashed together, because there's an oversight committee that looks over things.
Oversight is like you had a stain on your shirt you didn't notice.
Yeah, that was an oversight.
There's a defenseman in my roster who's missing for 6 months or whatever.
And Jesse, if he was teaching me how to produce this show, would have to oversee my work. So there's two types of oversight. See what I'm saying?
His I don't know. I was gonna.
Anyway, I just think it's used the wrong way, quite frankly. But anyway, let's get back to Ottawa because there's more.
Steve, you didn't clean the dishes. That was an oversight. No, you just say I'm sorry.
But if Mrs. Dangle watches you clean the dishes, it's also oversight.
She was overseeing.
Exactly. Now, Melnyk on the outdoor comments and the controversy that followed. We all know what Eugene Melnyk said.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
It was along the line.
He's nothing but hits.
Yeah. You remember it was about, well, if it's not financially viable, we'll move the team. I'm paraphrasing,
right.
but you remember that comment, right? Yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody watched the interview. Yeah. So
you know that whole what is it? Don't write checks. Your mouth can't cash.
Don't write checks with your mouth that your brain can't cash. I don't know.
Adam, how do you not know the quote? You are master of old timey quotes.
Well, that might be one that's too new. So that might be created in the last 50 years. So I wouldn't know it.
The more things you say, the more receipts you make. And
that's not. I don't think that's a thing, Steve.
I'm making it.
No, but I don't think that should be a thing. I don't.
People are pulling out the receipts on him.
Nope.
He's spending word money.
I'm not. I'm
gonna force this square peg into a round hole, Jesse. It's gonna work.
And your dogs are terrible, Stanley Cup Playoff.
I'll do it again tomorrow if I have to. I don't care. I'll blindfold them so they have no idea what hand it is.
Do it for every game just to piss people off.
Yeah.
And here's what my dog hates your team. You should just call it that. My dog hates your team. Melnyk, we all know what he said. So I say that, and if you want to go back and listen, it's available basically everywhere. But if you want to go back and really listen to it again. And here's what he said.
Well, if you want to go back and listen to it, you cannot.
Oh, no, it's available. No, not at the Sens thing, but at the outdoor game. I'm talking about the outdoor game where he talked about moving the franchise. What Melnyk said last night in response to that, this is important. What was reflected in the press wasn't what I said. If it makes everybody feel better, I do apologize for the mischaracterization. We can make the fan experience better.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, sorry,
we don't need to give this
mixed characterization is where that actually ends.
Yeah. I was happy to give Marc Savard a platform. Like, I don't think we need to give...
Steve, stop.
Why?
Stop.
Why?
Because we're talking about news. Don't tell me to sit. No. Don't do
Adam,
the NHL.
Are you trying to talk about the 7th defenseman on the Leafs before a playoff game?
Steve,
I don't want to talk about that.
Talk about how the Leafs just signed Calvin Hahn. Go ahead, let's spend 20 minutes on it. It's not like I got to get home. It's not like it's late and the weather's crap.
You're going to be late.
Mrs. Dangle's going to be mad again.
Please let her call me. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it happened. It's my fault.
I'll tell her to call you right now.
We all saw what Eugene Melnyk said.
Yeah, like with
70 million
eyes
times.
And ears on national television.
So
imagine the Stones.
To say that was not what was reflected in the press wasn't what I said. You said it on camera. We saw it. What else did you say?
Maybe the transcription of the video that we all watched was off.
What is the dollar
But there was no
amount?
transcription.
Maybe there was supposed to be a comma.
Did they overdub him like a Japanese cartoon? I want to move the Senators when he's really saying I will stay in Ottawa forever. He never said that.
I have to go now. My home planet needs me.
Lips keep moving.
Like I just. What is the dollar amount you need to have in your possession where you just stop giving a damn? Like about anything. You can just say a thing on national television and be like, I didn't say that. Like, you're right, it is Trumpian.
It's
My favorite
Trumpian.
thing that I've seen about it is one day he will get on television and say, I was never president. How years until Eugene Melnyk goes, I never owned the Ottawa Senators. Eric Carlson was never a Senator.
He'll admit to owning it because that's a prestige thing. He'll say the system was rigged against him.
Oh, Adam, brav, frickin'
It'll be the system that's rigged.
Down to the prestige. Good word.
I didn't win because
Receipts.
everybody was against me. He said we can make the fan experience better. He added that he has seen better game day experiences while going to Vegas this season and watching a Raptors home game. You mean in Toronto by the MLSE team that owns the Maple Leafs too? You should see one of those games. It's pretty good there too. Question.
Answer.
Under what circumstances would you consider selling the team? This is directed not to Pierre Dorian, by the way. Eugene Melnyk said, there is no price. If something is not for sale, it's not for sale. Now, does that mean to you that he wouldn't move it? Because he never said he was going to sell it. He said he would move it.
Move it to LeBreton Flats or move it to...
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think he ever said he was going to sell it.
I also, his answers here have no meaning or bearing. I feel like he'll change his mind or he's just lying. At any given moment, I'm not moving the team. Okay, he moved them. I'm not trading Eric Carlson in the draft. Carlson gets traded at the draft. I just don't believe anything they say, nor do I have a reason to. I don't.
Yep.
Their word is mud. And guess what? What day is today? Wednesday? On Tuesday when they spoke, it was mud. Today, on Wednesday when they spoke, mud. Tomorrow, they're talking again. Guess what? Mud. 3 days of mud. It's a mudslide. I don't care. Keep talking. Keep talking. Hey, if they think they can talk their way to victories, it's going to be great. You know what's going to be great is teams like the Sens and the Habs who have demonstrated that they're clueless. Next year, they're going to improve just by virtue of it couldn't get much worse than this.
Yeah. And then they'll say,
see? And we're on the right track.
We were right.
You get better by default.
Thank God the Habs won the division last year. Every Leafs fan should have been cheering for that. Thank goodness. Whatever, man.
I hope they win it again next year. Just because.
Oh, yeah.
I hope because I want this to continue.
Don't say that.
Carey Price with a 9.49 save percentage.
I do. I really do.
And all the radio shows in Quebec just slam him for not being a clean 9.5.
You guys are going to be really upset when John Tavares scores 50 goals for them next year.
Yes, I will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be upset about that. Yeah.
So bite your tongue.
Also of note, the Senators are reducing parking prices from $20 to $12. Like I said, media were not allowed to record anything, audio or video. Melnyk blamed the media several times, saying, I don't want to hear anything through social media or the mainstream media. I want to hear it directly from you, the fans.
They booed you. You know what's hard to do on social? Boo.
Shall we move on to Marc Bergevin?
Yes.
This is the problem. We have so much to cover because in the time that the season ended to now, all of these GMs had their end of season press conference.
Yeah.
And you got to see the ones that are completely out to lunch, and you got to see the ones who are kind of, okay, they'll probably
whatever.
fix things. This is from Connor McKenna, friend on Twitter. He said,
Noted liar.
Marc Bergevin said this, I believe with a better attitude or different attitude, we don't have 40 losses.
So, there may be something to that. In that, a different team, obviously, but you heard what Ryan O'Reilly said with the Buffalo Sabres.
Which, I've written down later too.
Right, so he lost his love for the game this season. And we've said before that losing kind of just feeds off of itself. How weird is it that the Coyotes were the team they were in the second half and won, what was it, one of their first 20 games or none? Something like that. It just snowballs.
There is something to that. Now,
the 29th place Leafs of 09-10, they were 29th place. They were bad, but they lost their first 8 games. That's hard for any team in the National Hockey League to do, and it just kind of snowballs. So I got to imagine it was hard to be a Hab this season, and they probably didn't have that great of an attitude. They also didn't have that great of a team.
They also didn't lose 40 games. They lost 53 games. 40 losses plus 13 overtime losses equals 53.
See, this is how they look at the overtime loss, man. It's a reward. It's not a loss.
In my world, it's a loss. it's a loss. They lost 53 games. So here are some quotes. The overall attitude of our team needs to change regardless of who we bring in. If the team's attitude doesn't change, the results won't. I believe that we need a different attitude. I've read this one.
I thought, you read this one in 2013, Adam.
On Carey
You read
Price.
this one when they got rid of PK Subban. I thought it was supposed to be all fixed.
We're getting to that. Carey Price wasn't good this year, Bergevin said. We're not going to sugarcoat it. He's the first one to admit it. He had a down year, and we need him to be back to where he was.
Totally.
If Carey's back, we're already a better team. True.
Totally.
You build from the goal line, and it starts with Carey. Fair.
Totally.
On Carl Alzner. Carl Alzner's not the reason we're sitting here today. It's not fair to pick on one guy. I had a meeting with Carl, and there was one message, and the message is he has to be better. He's not the only one. There are only a handful of guys who perform to our expectations.
I've been screaming "be better" at my phone for months. Like, at some point, my phone is just what it is. And Carl Alzner was the 6th defenseman on the Caps last year.
Would your Mazda turn into a Ferrari if you told it to have a better attitude?
I've tried. Doesn't work. Like, it was, whatever. Carl Alzner got his money. Thank goodness for him. But they thought he was something that he's not. He's not.
It's because he's not playing with John Carlson anymore.
No, but he was a 5th overall pick, so here's some money.
Jesse, you look like you were about to jump in there.
No, I'm good.
Oh, my God.
You're looking at me with skepticism. You're looking at me like, okay, I'm going to let Steve say one more
defend Carl
wrong thing.
Alzner here. No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
From game one, we were never in the playoff race, Bergevin said. The most disappointment for me is for our fans. It was never fun. I never felt like we were a team that competed every night. We competed for a period or for a game, but we were just never in sync.
Who is the hardest working bottom 10 team? I want to know what respected hockey people think about that. Boy, this team worked really hard, but boy, do they suck. I thought that was kind of the Leafs in 15-16. They worked hard every night. Boy, did they stink. Whatever, man.
I think Habs' Eyes on the Prize summed this up perfectly. We got to give them a shout out. We haven't talked about them in a while since our boy Berkshire left.
Yes.
Bergevin has ostensibly already evicted all of the rumored troublemakers. PK Subban, Devontae Smith-Pelly, Nathan Beaulieu, and the entire Russian contingent.
What about Alex Galchenyuk?
Okay, hasn't done that yet.
Like, apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, over the last 2 seasons. So how can this team, led by Weber, Shaw, Carey Price, Brendan Gallagher, Max Pacioretty...
Geez, Shaw's one of the troublemakers. He's been a pain in the ass for them.
All of whom, at some point, were extolled for their character and leadership abilities by Bergevin, still have a attitude problem.
Now, in fairness, I don't know what their policy is with, like, when you're injured on the Leafs, you go away.
Yeah.
Because your job is to focus on getting better. I don't know how much Shea Weber was around this year.
Okay.
Maybe that's a question for a guy like
but
Engels.
what about Pacioretty and Gallagher? And I mean, really, at what point is it not the attitude?
I don't think they've ever believed in Pacioretty as a leader, to be honest.
Why is he captain then?
Because I think at the time the option was him or Subban. And so they gave it to him.
Are you serious?
Yes. Adam, this is why I say over and over and over again, if you want to run an NHL team, I believe in you. I think you can do it. There are a number of young people, like under 20s, who work for junior teams. I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about they actually work for junior teams, and they just go in there with a hunger to learn. And somehow they find their way into a video room, or they ask how to scout. I've met registered scouts who are under 18 years old. They weren't even legal adults. Mm. And they're on their way to who knows what. Maybe they drop out and they start a podcast. Maybe they become the next 5-time Stanley Cup champion GM. I don't know. But these guys, a lot of these former players are just clueless, man. Some of them are brilliant. Some of them are just brutal.
Jason,
or at worst, I think you do at least as good a job as them.
Jason Botterill of the Buffalo Sabres spoke today, And I'm going to go through these clips. I don't have them as succinctly as I had the Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens because, again, he spoke today.
This time last year, he was taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I can give you those.
Okay, I've got a Sportsnet article on it, but whatever you got, send it to me. Now, Mike Harrington, our boy from Buffalo, who we've made fun of a few times.
He unblocked me.
Did he? Oh, that's nice. He did say today that it was the most angry he's ever seen a Sabres GM.
Good.
Send it through the messenger if you can, or on email.
Now, that is a place where, boy, does the atmosphere just seem poison. Poison. Like, with the Habs, there are moments of smiles.
Yeah.
Sens, too.
Hey, we were at the game where there's some smiles.
And, like, a lot of the Habs seem to get along. The Sens, for as bad as they've been, they seem to like each other.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. And I think that's important, too. Like, sometimes you see a team where, like, you can just tell they just cannot stand each other. The Sabres don't look like they like each other. They don't look like they like being a Sabre. They don't even look like they like hockey. And that's why it was interesting to hear Ryan O'Reilly.
I lost my love of the game, and and Ryan O'Reilly
that's
saying
a Team Canada player.
He became okay with losing.
And that's a guy you brought in for, like, what was it, a first-round pick plus. He was on Team Canada's World Cup roster.
You're paying him $7.5 million.
He was your Masterton nominee, at least a couple years ago. I don't know if he was last year or this year. Come on. Something's poison. Something is bad. And it's like Matthews in this kind of atmosphere of winning. It's easy to have swagger. You see it come out of Jack Eichel sometimes, but it's how do you have swagger on the last place team? It's hard. And you see this superstar in waiting in him, and unless they get him a supporting cast fast, they're going to waste him too.
So, thank you, Jesse, for providing the quotes. Botterill, clearly pissed, says there will be change even at the core. He said there has to be change, and there will be change. When you finish where we did, we have to look at everything. That means even looking at changing our core players. Terry Pegula is mad. Botterill tells the media that the owner's level of anger from this season is fairly high.
Well, and he's put a buttload of money into that team. A lot of money into that team. Like, Terry Pegula, I'm pretty sure, owns like a decent chunk of downtown Buffalo.
He said going through the exit interviews on April 9th and 10th flat out sucked.
Oh.
There's a level of disappointment from the players, and what we really tried to focus on them was, okay, there's disappointment. What are we going to do moving forward? I don't want to hear how disappointed they are. I want to hear what's going to change. What's the action plan? Well, here's the thing. It starts with you, man. I mean, I know it's his first kick at the can, and I understand that that he's mad and the players are mad. I think the players have every right to be disappointed. Let them be disappointed. It just ended. You have a GM, a coach, and a captain. Why are you asking every player on the team what the action plan is? Ask them what went wrong. You decide the action plan, and you give it to them. You're the manager.
Well, like, I was going to say, well, Nazem Kadri kind of turned around his whole career, but it was kind of facilitated by Babcock going, you're going to shut down this year. So you're going to have to learn that, and I'm going to rely on you.
Actually, I don't even know if it was. I think it was the Horchek year they shut him down. Oh, you mean shut down? Oh,
no, you're going to be the shutdown guy.
Okay. Yeah.
So, also, I'm just looking at Eichel's stats. He had a really good year. He did not miss nearly as much time as I thought. Because I was going to say, well, he got hurt, and that kind of screwed up the start of their season. Dude, he still played 67 games. Boy. Another thing, I was going to say that he was kind of left alone as one of the only producers on this team. Not really. Ryan O'Reilly was right there. He had a great season. Sam Reinhart had a really good back half. Kyle Okpozo's not worth the money, but he had a fine season. Rasmus Ristolainen had 41 points in 73 games as a defender.
That's pretty good.
Evander Kane had 20 goals, 20 assists, 40 points in 61 games before he was traded. I don't know.
Let's move on.
Maybe it's just personnel.
Let's move on.
I think it's just personnel.
Does he have uncoachable players? I wouldn't say uncoachable. I think we have some players with some strong opinions. As an organization, we have to improve our communication. We have to make sure our coaches and our players are on the same page.
Can we talk about how Zemgus Girgensons has 15 points?
Just can you put that down?
No, because you're talking about uncoachable players. I wonder if that's one of the guys he's calling out.
Is Zemgus Girgensons supposed to give more than that? What's he supposed to give?
All I know is there was a Latvian rap video made about him when he made it to the All-Star game.
If he was more coachable, would he have more points?
Well, probably.
There we go.
Phil Housley will be their coach next year. He confirmed that.
Oh, good.
And that's all we got.
That's all we got. I don't know. It's typical Buffalo. I'm bored. I'm bored and learn nothing. They need to inject excitement into that team. Also, I just figured it out. Robin Lehner. Hasn't he been a thorn in their side for like a couple years now?
I think he might be of the strong opinions that he might have been talking about.
Yeah, he seems like at times he's a pretty good goalie, which is probably why they held on to him. But he also seems like a pain in the ass. Kind of like Tim Thomas. He can win you a cup, and he could also bail on the team and leave.
Yeah.
At a moment's notice. Leave behind $3 million.
Letter from John Ledecky.
Owner of the New York Islanders.
Correct. Let's move on to them. Dear Islanders fans.
Yeah.
Further to yesterday's press statement, we write each of you today as the team heads into this important offseason. Said bluntly, the Islanders' on-ice results were a disappointment. We had every intention to make the playoffs this year and contend for the Stanley Cup. Clearly, we fell short of those expectations.
Good so far.
Every member of the Islanders organization, from ownership to management to coaches to players, feels this disappointment in the same way we know our fans do.
Great so far.
We recognize that this disappointment does not reflect this past season's results, but also the fact that it has been many, many years since this team has achieved the ultimate goal of winning a cup.
Ooh, very good so far.
Accountability for this failure starts at the top with us. The goal for the Islanders is excellence. We will work tirelessly to improve every part of the New York Islanders organization in order to bring a fifth Stanley Cup home to our fans.
Oh my God, I love this song. Does this keep going? Or is that it?
This is where it goes off the rails.
Oh no, this is the Iggy Azalea verse. You were doing so good.
Fortunately, we achieved success off the ice this season and have secured the rights to build a permanent home for the Islanders and their fans at Belmont Park.
See, is that so bad though? Because they're saying, hey, we finally got a place. Oh, they're patting themselves on the back? I don't think so. I think that's them.
No, I think that's good.
I think that's them saying, hey, look, we finally got a place to play.
Yeah, they did it.
I say still on the track.
Yeah. All who love the Isles, hockey, and New York are grateful to Governor Cuomo for his decisive leadership in allowing this important investment to take place on Long Island.
I'm going to say still okay, but you're laying it on a little thick.
We thank you, our incredible Islanders fans, for your passion and support.
That's good.
We will work hard to earn your confidence as we serve our role as stewards of the Islanders franchise. Sincerely, John Ledecky. Now, the best...
That Cuomo. That's why you
And one more thing. Cuomo, you my bro.
Yeah.
You're my dude.
And we would just like to say thank you very much, Daddy, for the new arena. Like, that's how it comes across.
Yeah.
You know what? Speed wobble, you got it back on the road. You got it back fine and straight. You're good.
What you need to do is look this up on the Islanders timeline and have a look at some of the tweets.
Or are they a little upset?
They are a little upset. Dear fans, don't look at the lousy team I'm holding in my left hand while I wave the shiny new stadium that I'm holding in my right hand to your face.
Oh, I don't think that's what it was. I don't think that's what it was. Listen, I don't go to bat for owners. I just go to bat for people who are right. I think he was right. Everything he said. Took accountability. And that's all you got to do, really.
Since you basically repeated your statement 2 days in a row, allow me to give you the same response 2 days in a row. If Tavares isn't here next season and Snow is, I won't be buying any tickets.
Well, I did find it. Okay, can you read the first sentence again?
Of the statement?
Yes.
Dear Islanders fans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the rest of the... Okay, sorry. Further to yesterday's press statement, we write each of you today as the team heads into this important offseason.
Important offseason. Dear Islanders fans, I know you're all shitting a brick because Tavares is an unrestricted free agent, is basically how that reads. And the second you said that, I'm like, ooh, this is going to go poorly. But then they got it back on track. They didn't put a ton of emphasis on the fact that their captain is an unrestricted free agent. And I think that's probably for the best. Because what are they going to do? Like, talk him into a contract through a press release? I think the Islanders did the right thing.
Tweet. Accountability for this failure starts at the top. That's the quote. How long do we do something to fix that and then hold those accountable who are at the top, such as general manager who has failed the team for the last 12 years?
Wow, Garth Snow's been the GM for 12 years.
Yeah, he moved out of being a player.
How many playoff appearances in those 12 years?
Do you mind looking that up? I've just got this thing. This is insulting, plain and simple. Isles fans have put up with years of ineptitude, and saying, sorry, we had a bad year, but we got a building isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, they beat the Panthers. I'm trying to think of how many series wins they have. I can only think of one.
So you don't really need to remember it.
My bad. My bad. Yeah, you know what? They're doing the right thing, which is taking accountability. But when you have a guy who's been there for that long,
dude,
it's maybe not good enough.
I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are. I mean, okay.
Is it just lip service?
It sure seems that way to Islanders fans.
Okay. Here we go from Jesse Blake. So what would be 12 years ago?
You should be judged on
0506 is when he took over.
On your results, right? Mm-hmm. So these are the results of Mr. GM Snow.
All right. Did not qualify. These are their playoff results. Did not qualify. Lost in the first round to Buffalo, of all teams, in 5 games. Did not qualify. Did not qualify. Did not qualify. Did not qualify. Didn't qualify. Lost in the first round. This time they won 2 games. Did not qualify. Lost in the first round. This time they won 3 games. Won first round versus Florida 4-2. Lost in the second round to Tampa 4-1. Did not qualify. Did not qualify.
In 12 years of being the general manager of the New York Islanders, Garth Snow has 1 playoff round win and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First one, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 years of missing the playoffs. I'd say those aren't very good results.
You will not get another.
Sorry, they've won a total of 11 playoff games in 12 years.
From another fan.
That's pretty bad.
You will not get $1 of my money next season. Not $1.
So I guess they said the right things, but that's coming from an outsider.
I think inside it's different.
The fans are saying do the right things.
Right.
Don't just say them.
Right.
And they're right.
For me, 2006, when I took over this position, it was a situation where it was an all-out rebuild, where we thought we had to bring in enough talent where we had to bring talent through the draft. Garth Snow said. Now we're in a situation where we feel we can compete for a Stanley Cup.
When did he say this?
2 days ago.
What is he, me a couple shows ago? That's probably not good. That he's saying the exact same stuff as me.
Now
I should be an NHL GM.
Now we're in a situation where we feel we can compete for the Stanley Cup.
So what was the thesis of the press release from Mr. Ledecky?
Accountability. We know we sucked and we're accountable to it.
And it starts.
And we got an arena.
Yeah, and we got an arena.
For the arena.
And also it starts at the top. When does the owner step in?
It's got to be on him.
When there's a GM who needs to be fired. Garth's fired. That's what I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Garth's fired.
Brad Treliving and Jeff Gorton. Brad Treliving of the Calgary Flames, Jeff Gorton of the New York Rangers both said the reason their teams didn't do well, emotional investment.
Emotional investment.
Jeff Gorton said the Rangers didn't play hard enough. Brad Treliving said there's an emotional level that you have to get to assist you in winning, and we have to look into that.
The Rangers were in a playoff.
Are we emotionally invested enough? We're missing something. That can mean a lot of different things, but we've got to define the identity of our team. Now, in Brad Treliving's case, I'm sort of inclined to believe him because there's nobody who would have said the Flames aren't going to make the playoffs. Like, I would have never called that.
Yeah, no way.
That's true.
Looking at their team, I guess if there was one major thing you could criticize them for, Mike Smith played well, and then when he got injured, they had nothing. And I just don't think it's that hard to get somewhat adequate goaltending in this league these days. There's a reason you can get Calvin Pickard for a 6th-round pick and a prospect you're not going to use. Who do they even use? I don't know. I think they have some guys in their pipeline who are going to be good but not ready just yet, if I remember correct, but they just didn't have it. Didn't they start the year with Eddie Lack? Or was that last year? I don't even remember.
That was last year. They had Brian Elliott and Eddie Lack, I think. Didn't they?
Boy, they just...
Okay.
If I had to fault them one thing, it was definitely that.
If it was the Rangers...
They should have been better, though.
The Rangers should have been better, too. But I felt like this was coming. I know they had a 100-point season last year. I know they were really good. But I felt like with the Rangers, eventually you had to know this was coming.
I think it was dumb to put it on the players. I mean, they were in playoff contention. They were probably where they should have been in the standings, just looking at them on paper. They had a couple injuries, like pretty key injuries. They were in a playoff spot when they decided to rebuild, and then they kicked ass in the rebuild.
Oh my God, did they ever?
And now they're rumored to be getting Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years they're signing him for.
So, I mean, you got to take some accountability, and I don't think it usually doesn't do a whole lot of good to praise yourself when you miss the playoffs, but
I think they did okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need to scold the players.
No, they did fire Alain Vigneault, though. They're looking for a younger coach. So we want a team that plays harder in the last couple of months since the deadline. I think we were pretty void in that area, and it became more and more clear. Now, in the last couple of months since the deadline,
the team of talent.
That's what was weird to me. Did you expect that and then to make the playoffs? Again, it's weird that they put it on the players.
You sent out a press release bracing your fans. You basically sent out a "look out, we're going to suck" press release. I don't.
It's odd.
I just hope no Rangers saw that and went, you know what, piss off.
Yep.
Didn't try. How about you traded Ryan McDonough
and JT Miller
and Rick Nash?
Yeah.
How about you were the biggest seller at the deadline? How about that? I think they kicked ass, though.
I do too. And I don't think it won't be long before the Rangers are back.
Yeah, everyone was making fun of them about the whole rebuild versus getting Ilya Kovalchuk thing, but I don't think... I mean, you add a player the quality of Ilya Kovalchuk. Look at the Rangers and what they did. Look at Kovalchuk. How many more additions away are you from a playoff spot? One?
You still got Henrik Lundqvist.
Potentially 0?
As long as he plays well, you're in.
Yeah, you got a good young goalie now. I don't know if Andrei Pavlik is signed through next year, but you got Georgiev in there. I think the Rangers are in fine position.
Yeah, I think they're great. Okay, and I guess we'll kind of wrap it there. I just thought I should let you know that there's a lot of people in New York suggesting that Sheldon Keefe, the Toronto Marlies head coach, who is breaking records left and right, a lot of New York reporters saying that he's going to be the guy that New York targets. Kyle Dubas, his Instagrams or his Twitter's fun to watch because it's fun to see what he favorites. And Sheldon Keefe to New York Rangers, where he favorited a couple of those. So I wonder if he just favorites things to read them later.
People, probably. People often keep an eye on Kyle Dubas's likes because he's pretty active on Twitter. My favorite is everyone was looking for the Sheldon Keefe tweets and that he was liking them. So I guess they were looking at his likes a little harder. And people noticed that he liked the tweet from Eugene Melnyk saying that the Leafs were going to get blown out in 5 games.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I love our sassy future GM. Love him. And also, we're not going to be able to hold on to Sheldon Keefe, let's be honest.
I want to throw this one thing at you.
Throw it.
Before we wrap up, Jesse, reset that camera because there's a thing you need to know.
Oh, God.
Are you ready? I'm waiting for Jesse to reset the camera. We're just going to hold 7-0 Pittsburgh. And I'm getting tweeted pictures. I love our listeners. Don't look at Twitter.
No, I'm not. I'm explaining to my wife to be mad at you.
Okay. It's really the board's fault. I'm going to blame the board.
Okay, really fine. You tell her that.
And don't worry, we're done after this.
That's fine.
All of our listeners are tweeting us dejected Flyers pictures, dejected fans just at the Flyers game going, because it's 7-0.
Oh, in Pittsburgh too.
Game's over.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Thrashers have won their first playoff game in franchise history.
Hey! What was the final score?
I don't know. But I do know
Fair
that
enough.
the
3-2, I believe.
Thank you, Derek on Sports, for tweeting me that. But
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, he's a Carleton journalism student. Derek,
3-2.
thank you for tweeting us that. Amazing.
I have one question for the press conference.
Oh, hold on. I don't believe I've heard the music yet.
No music today because we're in a rush.
Oh, okay. Oh.
If the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup, does Joffrey Lupul get a ring?
Oh!
That's the most upvoted question on our Reddit page.
Damn,
Thank you.
I don't know.
I'm going to say yes, and
Thank
if
you
he
to
doesn't,
Duchess.
he should just buy himself one. He's got the money.
He earned it.
I mean, yeah.
Man.
He's on their cap. I think he should get a ring.
I think he should get a ring from
He should at least
Lou.
He should at least get the kind of ring that like Sasky will get.
Yeah, maybe not the top ring, but a ring.
No, but he's a player.
Yeah.
They should send him a postcard. Sorry we missed you.
Does he get a day with the cup?
Oh, man.
I hope so.
No. Dude, do you think he'd want
How
one?
bad of a look is
He
that?
doesn't want a ring from that. He doesn't want the cup from that.
I would.
He'd be insulted.
No! This is the fuck you to the Leafs. You take that cup, you take it to Coachella, and you say, hey, I won.
Yeah.
He just
I
starts
earned this.
moshing with it. Yeah, he just
I'm wearing
Throw
my-
with it on a
throws
boat.
it off a
short
building,
shorts.
dents it like Michael Ryder did. Yeah.
Like, Phil Kessel put hot dogs in the cup. Lupul can put checks, just checks from the Leafs. Every
That's
2 weeks,
awesome.
he gets a check, throw it in the cup. Take a picture.
There you go.
I'm Joffrey Lupul.
His dog takes a dump and he
And
just
I approve
scoops it
this
up.
message.
I'm Joffrey Loop. Yeah.
Anyways.
I like. Oh,
That's it.
sorry. During Game 7 in the third period, I was looking at the lines that the Leafs were using, and after the Bruins tied it, the Leafs decided it's time to swing momentum our way with a line of left winger Joffrey Lupul, right winger Nikolai Kulemin, and center Jay McClement.
What happened to Nas? Nas used to center that line.
They temporarily came to their senses and put Nas on the top line with JVR and Kessel, and it was actually a very good line.
I bet it was.
And then the puck went into the Bruins zone for a face-off, and the Leafs sent out Lupul, McClement, Kessel. They used McClement a lot.
Wow.
It sucked. It sucked a lot.
Yeah, the Leafs are
I
a lot
watched it, so
different.
you don't have to.
Man, I don't think I had no idea at the time how bad they were. I had no idea how not deep they were.
All I was left with watching that game was how the hell did they qualify for the playoffs
James Reimer.
and win 3 games?
James Reimer.
It's,
Yet he was the one blamed for the 7th collapse.
more and more, like, as I watched that game, just as it went on, I'm like, if you blame him for that game, you're a goof. Like, you don't need to
We
think...
had a whole management group that did.
Oh, my God. You don't need to think he's the best goalie ever. Like, you don't need to love him the way I do. But if you blame him for that particular loss, you're a goof. He's the reason we lost Game 7. Well, in a roundabout way, yes, because he's the only reason you got to 7.
With no disrespect to Dave Clarkson, because he is a really good guy, had the Leafs taken that 5.25 and spent it on 5 players at $1 million, they'd have been better off.
It would have been better. Literally just rookie contracts.
Not even rookie, just pick up someone.
Dominic Morse.
5 Dominic Morse.
Army of Dave Stuckles. It was bad. It's
Anyway.
bad. You don't have to watch it anymore. That's long in the past.
Long in the past. Hey, we're gonna wrap up because Mrs. Dangle.
Yes.
Because you have a dog now that wakes people up.
Yes. Thanks for coming to the rec room, everybody.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I don't think we even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We did that. Well, everybody could listen to the episodes, so it doesn't really matter.
That's right.
No, but we still should say thank you.
It didn't matter. Wasn't important. As Jesse Blake
No, but
said.
we don't have to fill anybody in because you can just go and listen to it.
Yeah, that's
We don't
kind
have
of
to
cool.
tell you what happened.
It's
You
like a
were
live.
there.
It's like a live album, man.
How was it?
Cool.
Go look.
Yeah. Go watch it for yourself.
Will not be the last time we do something like that.
No.
And we've got some stuff in the works that we're very excited about. So yeah.
Oh, do we?
We got lots of stuff in the works that we can't talk about yet, but you'll start to see.
I think
stuff.
tomorrow.
Well, there's that tomorrow, and then there's stuff that's going to come out over the summer and into the fall.
Yeah. Also,
there's lots of stuff.
One last thing, a bunch of people have been tweeting me, hey, are you going to do the Maple Leaf Square stuff? To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
So that sucks.
But you might be doing something better.
I might be.
That's a hint. Hey, we love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Sorry to miss Dangle.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.